Recording in progress.
Good morning, honorable members. I just want to be sure that I'm audible.
You audible, Chair?
I am audible. Okay. Honorable, good morning, and thank you very much. Honorable members, I think you will remember that in our plan, we were supposed to have the National Treasury speaking to us, but obviously the budget has been delayed. It is not being tabled tomorrow. So we will see them after the budget. So we're making alternative arrangements to still have the same conversations we wanted to have, plus a little bit more. And I spoke to the Director General yesterday, and he reaffirmed that they'd like to come as soon as possible. So today, we are with the Office of the Auditor General speaking about the audit outcomes for the Road Accident Fund. Now, you will remember that when the Road Accident Fund was with us last, we saw them without having the benefit of the AG's audit outcomes. So we are going to do this in the normal way that we do. So the AG is going to present the audit outcomes, and then the Road Accident Fund will come and see us next week. What we will do following this meeting, because we've been in touch with the RAF as well, we are going to share with them the presentation that the AG has given to us, and then we are also going to help them with some questions which emanate from this conversation that we are going to have, so that they can prepare adequately. They will then send to us whatever return submission they want to make by Friday, and then we will distribute it to the members and then have the conversation next week. I'd also like to welcome the members of the Auditor General team, the members of the Secretariat in Parliament. I am just going to ask that the Auditor General team identify themselves and let us know who's going to be taking us through the presentation and so on.
Okay. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, members. Yes, my name is Mukwana Nicholas. I'm the Deputy Business Unit Leader I'm also with Sipesi Tlemulangini, who's the senior manager in the audit of RAF. Will be the ones that will be taken through the presentation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I just want to get your name right. So is the surname Nicholas or Mukwena? Just because we always say Mukwena Nicholas when you introduce yourself. I just want to be sure.
Oh, okay. Yes, no, my surname is Mukwena. My name is Nicholas.
Mukwena. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to be sure. Okay. All right. No, thank you very much. So I'm not going to delay you any further. Please go ahead with your presentation, and then I will hand over to the members to ask any questions they have, and then we shall release you thereafter.
Okay. No, thank you so much, Chairperson. Let me just share my screen. Okay, you'll let me know if the presentation is visible. Yes. No, thank you so much, Chairperson. As indicated, we'll be taking through the audit outcomes of Road Extent Fund. Chairperson, the audit of Road Exit Fund for 23-24 financial year.
Sorry, may I please interrupt? Can you do that full screen thing on your, because it's not screen. So it will help with visibility, especially for those who are streaming, but also some of us with little bad eyesight.
Okay, I'll try to do the slideshow. Just let me know if you can. Okay. Let me just. Okay. Can you see it, Chairperson?
Yeah, I can. The slide is still not full screen though. I'm not sure if there isn't somebody who can assist you with your, on your side.
Yeah. Okay, I think, Chairperson, let me just ask my colleague to project it from his side. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. No, thank you so much, Chairperson. Yes, Chairperson, as I was indicating that the audit of Road Extent Fund for 23-24 financial year was finalized on time by the 31st of July 2024 for the first time since 2021 financial year, which it is encouraging and it is enabling us to timelessly present the outcome to the various accountability oversight structures. This is what we want to see going forward, Chairperson, to finalize the audit on time. On that note, we do appreciate management support for enabling us to conclude this audit on 31st July 2024. Chairperson, I will start with the presentation itself. I will briefly just touch on our mandate, Chairperson. Our mandate as an AJC, we do exist to strengthen our country democracy by enabling oversight and accountability and governance in the public sector. Chairperson, this is one of those oversight structures that as AJC, we are enabling so that we can be able to hold executive and management accountable in terms of how the affairs of the public entities are being run. Chairperson, the next slide talks to the accountability ecosystem. This is an accountability ecosystem model that we have developed as an agency, where like we are highlighting the key role players in the public sector to ensure the ultimate service delivery. Everyone has got the role to play, Chairperson, and all have to play their part. And if all were to play our part, then this will enable this ultimate service delivery. You can see that the parliament, legislatures is also there, and everyone is there, chairperson, just to ensure that ultimately we work together to ensure that we deliver service to the citizens. Chairperson, I will go to the next slide, which is the overall audit outcomes of Road Exit Fund for the 23-24. We are doing comparison for the past 5 years. You will see that the audit outcomes of RAF have largely remained the same compared to the previous 5 years. When looking at the current year, RF received an adverse opinion, same as last year. Chairperson, an adverse opinion, it is when the auditor fundamentally disagrees with how management have prepared their financial statements. It means that the financial statement, as they are, they contain material and pervasive misstatements, which do not fairly present the state of affairs of the entities. Yes, chairperson should know, like the main reason for this adverse, it is the use of IPSAS 42 by RF, which we fundamentally disagree, as it's not allowed to be used by public entities in South Africa. And as a result of this misstatement, chairperson, we have raised non-compliance with the PFMA, as the PFMA requires the public entities to prepare the financial statements that are fairly presented. If they don't prepare financial statements that are fairly presented, it does result in non-compliance with Section 55 1B of the PFMA. We are highlighting that fact, chairperson. Chairperson, as you can see, we also highlighted the financial challenges as presented by the financial statement numbers of the RAF. We've noted that RAF has reported a deficit of 1.5 billion compared to 8.4 billion in the prior. Slight improvement when you compare, if it's an improvement compared to prior. We also note that RAF expenditure in a way exceed the income received. That's what the deficit means. It means that when you look at the expenditure that has been incurred, you look at the revenue that has been received, expenditure does exceed the revenue. Then we note that RF also has got accumulated deficit of about 25.5 billion, with total liability exceeding the assets. Again, this means that when you look at the total liability of RAF, they do exceed the total assets. I'll touch on this a little bit later in the next slide, chairperson, just to expand in terms of the financial health of the RAF. It's safe to note that this number that I was presenting now, they are understated, as they don't reflect the full extent of the liabilities due to the adverse opinion that we issued above. The main root cause, chairperson, is mainly relating to lack of response by management in terms of addressing the finding in relation to the use of IPSAS 42. And we have recommended management to revert to using the accounting standard, which was approved by ASB until such time that the appropriate standard specifically to account for provision for claims liability has been developed by ASB. In the next slide, chairperson, as I said, I will be reflecting on financial health of RAF. You can see the graphic below just show the accumulated deficit over the past 5 years, which has been going up. And this, of course, does create going concern and uncertainty, and going concern means that the entity is continue to operate for the foreseeable future, and that the entity is able to pay its debt when it becomes due. And when we assess going concern from our side, we look at the financial resources that are available to pay its liability, to pay the liabilities when they become due. We also, of course, do consider the government policies. If there's any change in terms of the government policy, to warrant whether to indicate whether an entity is a going concern or not. From RF's perspective, we have raised a material uncertainty or ongoing concern due to the indicators that I've mentioned above, or the signs that I've indicated above. For example, the fact that the RF has incurred a deficit of 2.5 billion. The fact that RF has actually incurred has got accumulated deficit and has been having accumulated deficit for the past over the past 5 years, then that on its own is an indicator of going concern. However, we have noted that management have disclosed this fact in the financial statement, which is in line with the requirement of standard that to the extent that the entity has got financial difficulties, the disclosure is required in the financial statement, and the mitigation on how those the disclosures will or those indicators will be dealt with. That has been disclosed accordingly in the financial statement, and we have accordingly did not have any issue with the entity preparing its financial statement on a going concern basis. Then, yes, we can. The next slide, Chairperson, will be dealing with the performance of RAF. Here, we'll be looking at the performance of RAF over the past 5 years. We'll start with the audit outcomes themselves with respect to the reporting of performance against its annual performance report targets. RF received, we did not have any material findings when it comes to the annual performance report, meaning that the annual performance report that was submitted was reliable and also useful. However, Chairperson, we also reflect on the achievement of targets, which is key to ensure that there is a service delivery. We have noted that in the current financial year, RF has actually achieved 85% of its targets. We reflect below in terms of those key targets that we think that they are critical. And if you look at the first target that we are highlighting here, Chairperson, is the achievement of an indicator relating to the processing of personal claims settled within 120 days. This indicator, Chairperson, measures the offers made and accepted by the claimant. The target was 10%, and the actual achievement was 11.02%. RF is commended for this achievement, Chairperson. However, RF should include a target relating to the actual compensation to the claimants in the annual performance plan and report on it accordingly. This, Chairperson, will ensure that the all aspects of the mandate are being measured. We have raised this matter with management for them to include the actual payment as part of their KPI and not only limit to offers made and accepted. And we'll be engaging with management further for this financial year and follow up on how they have dealt with this matter, Chairperson. Chairperson, the next target that was not achieved relate to, or the next target relating to the reduction of 3-year-old claims was not achieved. This indicator, Chairperson, measures the rate at which RF reduces the backlog claims that have been in the system for over 3 years. The target that was set was 20%, and the achievement was 16.91%. And the non-achievement of this is due to the historical claims where they were not processed due to inadequate information that couldn't be due to inadequate information that RF couldn't verify. Chairperson, the importance of achieving this KPI cannot be emphasized enough, take into account that RF has not been achieving on this indicator for the past 2 years. And if this KPI was to be achieved, it will assist RF in terms of achieving its mandate, taking into account that it's talking about all the backlog claims that are still in the system. We do encourage recommend to management to continue put effort to ensure that this target is achieved. Another target, Chairperson, that was not achieved related to the rollout of the integrated claim management systems, which could not be achieved due to delays that have taken place due to the alignment of the the user requirements and the solution itself. Chairperson, in terms of the impact of the non-achievement of this target, know that if these targets are not being achieved, if the claims are not being processed and paid out, this will impact like the compensation of the motor vehicle, the victim of motor vehicle accident. Delays in the implementation of the automated of the system, it will actually impact the efficient processing of the claims. We do recommend to management that they monitor the achievement of this target and ensure that they are achieved. Okay. Yes, Chairperson, the next slide, this slide deals with the compliance aspect, and the focus here is more on the consequence management, which deals with the regular expenditure. Here we're looking at the closing balance of irregular expenditure as disclosed in the annual report. Although, Chairperson, the RF did not record any irregular expenditure in the current financial year, the closing balance of irregular expenditure is still 440 million, which is a reduction from prior year. Sorry, you can see that the regular expenditure is quite high. That still need to be dealt with. We do indicate that 90% of it has not been dealt with. And the main reason why this has not been dealt with is because of the regular expenditure that is still under investigation, which amount to 302 million, which is being investigated by SIU together with the RF fraud division. And the main irregular expenditure there was related to Project Scienza, which we did identify in 17-18, which is quite long. It is critical that like there is follow-up to ensure that this matter gets closed as soon as possible. There is a regular expenditure under determination where like amounted to 78 million, where RF is still in the process of instituting a disciplinary process. It is critical that this gets finalized so that the regular expenditure can be fully addressed, Chairperson. Thanks. Okay, Chairperson, I will briefly just highlight the status of litigation. From the last session that we've had with ourselves, Chairperson, it was in September, where we did indicate that RF had a petition to the Supreme Court of Appeal to get them the matter for court to reconsider their positions. Chairperson, like there was a outcome on the 18th of September where the Supreme Court of Appeal dismissed RF's application. When it comes to the latest, Chairperson, like in October 2024, RF filed to the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal for reconsideration of the dismissed applications. And on the 18th of November, we also filed our responding affidavit. This was also followed by RF final replying affidavit on the 27th of November. We are now waiting the outcome of the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, Chairperson. Thank you so much. Okay, I think, Chairperson, the last slide just really to reflect on the recommendation that we're making to the SCOFA. We recommend that you monitor and regular follow-up with the Executive Authority and the Accounting Authority on the effective oversight over the quality of annual financial statement, the achievement of key performance targets in the annual performance plan, and compliance with laws and regulations. We recommend that you follow up on the review of the annual performance indicators and targets to ensure that they are aligned to key service delivery mandate of RF, thus ensuring that available funds are directed towards payment of claims. And lastly, to follow up on the status of consequence management on investigation of irregular expenditure. This is our presentation, Chairperson. Thank you.
Mkwena, thank you very much for that presentation. I shall give an opportunity to the members to engage with the presentation and ask questions. Honorable Beasley, and then Honorable Esak. Okay, let me go with you first. Those are the hands I can see for now. Hang on, so. Okay, so it's Honorable Beasley, Honorable Esak, Honorable Matiwane, Honorable Skosana, then Honorable Neil May, in that order. Honorable Beasley, please go ahead. And Honorable Mende as well.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the AG for another excellent report. So my question is, if the RAF followed the correct accounting standards, how much would the loss be for this current year, and what would be the accumulated deficit be? So if they follow the correct accounting policies, because I think we're seeing a presentation based on the incorrect accounting standards. So just if we could have clarification, what would the loss for the current year be and the deficit? And obviously the deficit is building up. So just to get an idea from the AG, because obviously there's a train smash coming when the RAF are going to run out of money, and it looks like it's going to happen quite soon. Can the AG give an indication when that train smash is going to happen and when the when the RAF is going to run out of money and unable to pay any more claims? And then lastly, in terms of this legal action, I'm just wondering if the AG can perhaps ask that personal cost orders get placed against those people who are taking them to court, because it's just crazy that government is taking government to court and the only people who pay is the taxpayers. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I think we've got enough time. So let the AG answer each question in turn. So we won't go through a list. So when a question is asked, please deal with it and then we'll move to the next.
Okay. No, thank you so much, Chairperson, and thanks, Honorable Beasley. Chairperson, in terms of like the position that RF would be if they were to account for the provision of claims liability correctly. We don't necessarily have the figure now, take into account that the determination of the amount it require the actuarial evaluation, which has not been done in the current year. However, from the date when this matter started in 2021, at that time, the indicative amount based on the previous financial year was over 300 billion in terms of liability. But for this year, there's no any determined amount, and that we can clearly see the impact on the income statement, or the impact on the deficit and the claims liabilities. But it is fundamental, as stated in our adverse opinion. Yeah, in terms of at what point RF will be in a position where they won't be able to pay their debts. Yes, I think as indicated, the financial statement currently indicate that the assets are exceeded by the liabilities. Mean that when you look at the current assets and the total liabilities, in fact, when you look at when you look at the current assets and long-term assets, they are not adequate to cover the current liabilities and the long-term liabilities. It is as the current situation where like RF is unable to pay its debt immediately. But again, I think like they have been continued operating like this, where they manage their funds and pay the debts as and when the funds are becoming available. Then, yeah, I think in terms of the personal order cost, Chairperson, I think that I'm not in position to indicate as from our side. We just party to the proceedings and not necessarily the determination of who should bear who should carry the cost. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkwena. Honorable Esak.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, AG office, colleagues. Thank you for the opportunity, Chair. Chair, Honorable Beasley somehow or the other touched on, one or two issues. Look, I think, if I might express myself, and then I need some clarity. Chair, we met with this institution, if I recall, last year, September it was, and indeed, it was one of those meetings where people try to quantify themselves as, doing a great job and all is good. But you and my colleagues know it is very otherwise, and here is the AG's report that shows very, very clearly that this entity, in my opinion, is bankrupt. It is an entity that is absolutely in ICU, and another state institution that is all but collapsed. It's difficult to digest that in 12 months, an entity can show a deficit of some 1.6 billion rand, just in one financial year. So something is drastically wrong here. I need to understand, AG, through you, Chair. Slide number 8, we speak there of the Road Accident Fund did not achieve target relating to roll out release 1 of the integrated claims management systems due to delays by lack of alignment between requirements and the solution. Okay, so that is a comment, or rather, as I'm reading it from slide 8, I'd like the AG, with your permission, Chair, just to educate me a little more and make me understand in simple English what is implied by that. And then these issues of the court cases, my colleague touched on it. I still don't comprehend what exactly is the RAF trying to achieve, Chair, through these court cases. I mean, taking the state to court, it's just ridiculous. The status of consequence management. Now, I want to know also from AG the status of consequence management of irregular expenditure. Now, I mean, AG has clearly outlined it. Chair, I think my point here is, what are we as the committee? Because I think we as the committee need to have a serious discussion, Chair, around this entity. What are we as SCOPA going now to do about this status of consequence management and the irregular expenditure, which is continuous? I'll stop there for now, and I thank you again for the opportunity, Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Mukwena, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Chairperson, and thanks, Honorable Isaac, for the question. Yes, Chairperson, the RAF has embarked on the automation, where they would like to automate the claim management process. And this project called Vukamoso, which they've embarked on, it was meant to be effective or be rolled out last year. Then and that has not taken place. And as we were inquiring in terms of what was the reason for that, it was indicated that as they were reflecting in terms of some of the user requirements that they wanted to be catered in the process were not aligned with what has been delivered. Therefore, they needed to go back and correct that. And we have noted that that has since been done, and they've started with the actual implementation or piloting of the system.
Okay, so I just want to ask you a question of clarity, because I just want to be certain that we state things accurately. So what we're talking about here is that the dispute is about the application of the evaluation of the liabilities from an actuarial perspective. It doesn't mean that the Road Accident Fund is mismanaging funds to the extent that it is bankrupt. I just want us to be clear, because we need to solve the right kind of problem. Am I correct that the calculation of the liabilities, and those liabilities arise because of the number of car accidents and car accident victims that we have in South Africa, rather than what the Road Accident Fund does on its own? And therefore, in other words, we have a situation where the number of accidents and an estimation of what those accidents will cost in claims exceeds the amount of money that the road accident fund gets from the fuel levy. Am I characterizing this correctly?
Yes, yes, Chairperson, you are. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Then
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was saying yes, yes, you are, Chairperson. In terms of like the matter under dispute is more about accounting of all the claims that are supposed to be accounted for in accordance with the standard, and those claims, how you quantify those is done through the actuarial valuation.
Okay, all right. Now, I just wanted us to be clear on that. The other question that I had relating to this evaluation, does this mean that the actuarial calculation has not been done at all, or it has been done but not applied?
Okay. Yes, I think from our side,
to the financial statements, that is. So in other words, the information exists, it has just not been applied to the financial statements, or the road accident fund has stopped doing that actuarial analysis altogether.
okay. I think from our side, Chairperson, we didn't audit the calculation that management would have done, because they are not presenting the financial statement. Maybe just to get exact answer to that of whether it's been done or not, management can be in better position to do that. But from our side, because it was not presented in the financial statement, therefore we didn't audit and we can't vouch on it.
I see. So all you know is that it's not in the financial statement. That's all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I just want to be clear. So there was a hand from member Matiwan, Honorable Member Matiwan. I don't see it anymore, so I don't want to skip you, and you wanted to speak anyway. Okay. Okay, I don't see a hand. So the next one on the list was Honorable Skosana G.
And good morning.
Sorry, Chair. I think Member Matwan is trying to speak. Let's try and check it.
Oh, I see. I didn't see the hand, and then I couldn't hear. My apologies. Member Matiwan, are you still? Okay. Please go ahead. Yes. Okay. Can you?
Chair.
Okay, you're breaking a bit. Can you speak again? I just want to that you're audible. Oi. Okay, I think there's a network issue. Honorable Matiwana, can you hear me? Honorable Member, you're mute as well. Okay.
Yes. No, I'm saying I just got cut off for a minute there. Greetings
Oh, I
to you,
see.
Chairperson, and
No,
to
please
the
go ahead.
members of the. Okay, so thank you. Now, greetings to you, Chairperson, and to the members of the committee, and to the Auditor General. Chair, I lowered my hand because you had already recognized me, so I didn't see a need to keep my hand up when you've already recognized me. No, I wanted to check with the Auditor General on the adverse outcomes of the audit or audit opinion, where there is a material misstatement because of the use of the IPSAS 42, which is not allowed by the PMFMA. So would the Auditor General regard that misstatement as a material irregularity in terms of the public, in terms of the Public Audit Act, and also that the use of this IPSAS 42, these accounting standards that are not allowed to be used, would the Auditor General be of the opinion that they were used in a manner to conceal the levels of liabilities or the levels of indebtedness of the road accident fund. And then also on the question of the performance report, really it doesn't assist if the performance report doesn't have a KPI which shows the actual payments, which is the main mandate of RAF, which is to pay out to benefit to victims of accidents. So that is just what I wanted to check. And also on consequence management, I think some of my colleagues have touched on that. Also wanted to check the effect of the court cases that RAF has taken the Auditor General to court to try and withhold or interdict audit reports. Does that have any impact on the remedial action that the Auditor General is empowered to take? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Matiwane. May I hand over to you, Mr. Mokoena, to respond?
Okay, no, thank you so much, Chairperson. I'll deal with the first two questions. I'll ask my colleague to deal with the last question on the consequence management. Yes, Chairperson, in terms of the use of the standard, that is not allowed, whether that amounts to material irregularity. Chairperson, the assessment that we have done for now is from financial statement perspective, where we are looking at the impact on the financial statement, because there is some the process that ought to be followed in assessing whether there is material irregularity, whether there is any loss that has taken place, there is any harm that has been caused by the use of the IPSAS 42. And at this present moment, we haven't determined the material irregularity. Safe to say, we have actually, raised the material misstatement. However, the assessment will be ongoing, take into account that the longer it takes to resolve the matter, there may be consideration in terms of the impact to the public of this use of the IPSAS standard. But at the present moment, Chairperson, we haven't determined that there is material irregularity. However, it's something that we will definitely consider as we go. Yeah. Then, in terms of the whether like the RF is concealing the liability. I think you've used concealing, because I think basically what we're saying, you may interpret as concealing, but what we're saying is that they have not recorded all the liabilities that they should be. Mean that the liability stands, they are understated, they don't include all. Yes, RF, like they disagree on the matter, but I think the point that we're raising is that liability is not adequate. Yeah, then I'll ask my colleague just to deal with the last question, Chair.
Right. Thank you very much, Chairperson. I will deal with the last question regarding consequence management, whether the court process that is underway would trigger a remedial binding action being taken by the Auditor General. As Mr. Mokoena has highlighted, at this stage, we haven't determined that there is a material irregularity relating to that case. So the remedial binding action is one of the stages that will follow the notification of material irregularity being issued. So until a point that the decision is taken that there is a material irregularity, a remedial binding action would not be a consideration. It's only a consideration if all other processes after a material irregularity notification has been issued, if it is indeed confirmed that the matter is a material irregularity. So it's highly dependent on whether the matter is a material irregularity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a follow-up. I'm not sure, and forgive me if I missed it, Mr. Mokoena, whether Honorable Matiwane's question about the performance, one of the performance indicators, the failure to indicate the claims paid at something along those lines to deal with it.
Okay. No, thank you, Chairperson. I took it as a comment. Maybe I can just ask Honorable Matuan if there was a specific question. I think I
just want to certain that we've served him correctly. Yeah, Honorable Matuan,
certainly.
You're happy with the answer in relation to the issue that you wanted covered?
No, I'm happy, Chair. I think they've covered part of the question in the previous answers to my colleagues.
All right. Thanks, Honorable Matuan. Honorable Kosana G.
No, thank you very much, Chair. And good morning to yourself, to colleagues, and to the AGSA and other stakeholders present in the meeting. Yeah, no, we really welcome and appreciate the presentation by AGSA on the audit outcomes of RAF for 2023-2024. Yeah, I see that in terms of their overall performance against their target, they are at 85% against their annual performance plan. Against targets on the annual performance plan, they are at 85%, which is good, though it's a slight decline from the previous year, which was 91%. I think we note that. Well, just that's a comment, Chair. My second comment is the issue of IPSAS 42, which is the accounting standard that is that is being contested. Yeah, I think it's quite very sad that this matter it's still continuing and it's contributing to the RAF not being able to get a favorable audit opinion. And I think that was our observation in the meeting that we had with them, with RAF somewhere last year. And I think we are vindicated today that again the entity has received an adverse audit opinion. The main reason being the issue of accounting standard. We respect their right to litigate around this matter, but it is quite worrying that even after our previous meeting, where it was made clear that they have lost this case a number of times, we are seeing that they, even after that meeting, they continue to lose the case. And they even continue to litigate, even when they were advised by the court that there are no prospects of success, but they continue to appeal and they lost. So it is quite worrying that we are where we are and that we are unlikely to see a change on the audit outcome because of this particular matter, which means there's still a need for us to, like we've indicated, to meet with them and try to persuade them to look at this matter from a different angle. As much as they do have a right to litigate and all that and appeal and all that, but it's not assisting because they are losing all these cases and they are continuing to receive an unfavorable audit outcome. And these litigations obviously are not done free of charge. There are costs involved, and that is also public money that is being used in all these litigations. So lastly, which is a question, that's the only question from my side, with regards to the irregular expenditure, I see that the irregular I think 99% of the irregular expenditure has not been dealt with, or it has not been finalized. There's only, I think, 1% that has been condoned, which is about 4.2 million. But we've got a whooping 440 million, which is not dealt with, or it's still being processed, maybe. That's a very huge amount of money. And I see that of this 420 million, of this 440 million, 362 million is said to be under investigation, which mainly relate to project Cienza. So I just want to find out, is there any tangible progress in relation to that particular investigation of the 262 million, which mainly relates to project Cienza? And secondly, with the remaining 78 million, what is happening to it as far as issues of investigations are concerned? Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Skosana. Mr. Mokoena, you can proceed.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Chairperson, and thanks, Honorable Skosana, for those reflections. Yes, on the specific question that you've asked us in terms of the regular expenditure, yes, Chairperson, over 90% of regular expenditure has not been dealt with, and this relates to the regular expenditure that has been investigated by SIU. Yes, it has taken some time, as this was identified in 1718. In terms of the latest, I think the latest that we got is that SIU is still investigating the regular expenditure. I think perhaps follow up with SIU in terms of the status of this may be appropriate. But I think from the engagement that I've had with RF is that it's still being investigated by SIU. Then, and from SIU, we haven't got an indication that the investigation has been concluded. In terms of the remaining 78 million, that is what it has been investigated. They've identified the officials that are responsible, and they are in the process of taking disciplinary action against those that have been found guilty in terms of that investigation. But yeah, that is what RF is currently dealing with on the 78 million. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Honorable Neil May.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, colleague. Good morning to the Auditor General that is present with us. Most of my questions have been answered, and the last one would then just be: do we know the amount that the cost for the legal bills? Because it's cottage industry for lawyers, and I'm wondering if there's a lawyer that is hell-bent on giving them advice and taking them back to court, considering all the recommendations and the rulings that have come from court. And so that was just the one other thing. I think tying up this presentation with the SIU presentation gives us a bird's eye view of what is happening there. You've answered the question about the different accounting systems. Where is money hidden in if they had to do it in the correct manner, because their system doesn't seem to show the full extent of what is there. And those were just some of the questions that I had. There, if you look at the deficit, and I think we would have to look at the SIU report and this report together, and then I guess we'll see quite a good picture on how they are operating. Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Neil May. Mr. Mokoena.
Okay. No, thank you, Chairperson. If I got the question correctly in terms of the litigation cost, whether we know how much it costs to date in terms of the discussion between ourselves and RAF. Maybe can I get that confirmation, Chairperson?
Yes, I think that was the question.
Yes.
I'm not sure, but please proceed.
Okay. Okay.
No,
yes,
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes. No, thanks, Chairperson. Yes,
do you know or not?
Yeah. No, we do have a cost, but we don't. We can get that and provide the members with the cost, the estimate cost to date in terms of the litigation.
So is that from your perspective as the AG, or you mean the road accident fund cost?
No, from AG perspective, yes.
Honorable Nilmay, were you asking in respect of the AG or in respect of the road accident fund?
Chairperson, basically I was checking to see if those figures have been disclosed. And so if it's from the AG perspective and we've managed to look at how much each of those court appearances have cost, it will give us an idea of how much money they're spending on this case. So if it's not available, if they haven't shown their expenditure with regards to their legal bills, that we would still need to look at. Thanks.
No, thanks, Honorable Nilmay. So what we said to them we will do is, following this discussion, we will go through our notes and ask them to prepare certain additional information for discussion when they sit with us next week. So this is one of the questions we will send to them so that they can give you the number when they come. Thanks, Honorable Nilmay. Then Honorable Mende.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning to the colleagues and the AGSA. Chair, thank you very much. Chair, I have a very big problem. And I think this is going to now be much more clearer than we have been complaining. Here we have adverse findings. In the same vein, we have a declaration that there is achievement of core functions. New claims are being paid out in less than 120 days. And the other targets, the two targets that were not achieved, they were missed slightly in terms of backlog. And then there is this main target of compliance with accounting standards. Now we are dealing with an entity that has achieved what is their primary function. Yet we are getting an adverse finding because the accounting standards were not met. And then you get an entity or a department that didn't achieve anything. And then it gets a qualified audit with findings because it had complied with the accounting standards. There is something that has to be done, AG. You get a department that does not do anything in terms of the primary function. Get a Department of Water. It has not built Mzimvubu Dam. It has not built, given water to Guyana. It has not done anything about consequences of people of Guyana and all of that. Then they get an unqualified, a qualified audit with findings. And then they look like they've done something. Now here is RAF, who has done something, because in terms of meeting the demand to pay new claims within 120 days is done. Looking at the backlog of those that are on the system yet not being paid, they've reached out of the 20% target they've been given, they have achieved 16 point something. I want to understand exactly how do we then tell the people that a department has done much better. Yes, we are not here to praise any fish for swimming, but there should be a point where we are clear in our communication. Our communication must be in line with the finding of the AG and what is on the ground. Then number 2 is exactly on the 120 days. In respect of the accounting standards. Now, as far as I understand the argument of not complying with the PFMA, which is the law. Now, RAF says we pay people within 120 days because we don't want them to exceed 120 days. Otherwise, then we go to court and then we have to pay the lawyers and all of that. Then here is budget for 100 claimants, if we may be put it that way as an example. But then 300 people get involved in accidents. What should RAF do in order to make sure that all 300 people are paid within 120 days without waiting for the next budget? And then how should they account for that deficit? Because it's not of their own doing. It's what is happening in our roads. And if our roads are breeding ground for accidents, RAF must pay people. But RAF doesn't have that budget at their disposal. However, they have a 120-day target on their head to pay people. And the financial term is not yet in their advantage in terms of new budget that may come in. Now, obviously, they're going to fall into a deficit. I think at some point, Chair, AG and RAF must sit and understand each other. We do have a PFMA as a law, but almost every time, I think now we're dealing with this matter from the previous parliament to this parliament, it's so obvious that something has to be done. We need another accounting standard which is going to be able to accommodate a budget that could be depleted before we get another budget, meaning which if a department gets into accrual, again, let me make an example with water. We may build Umzimvubu Dam, give people of our town water. For some reason, something happens or some criminal go break a pipe and all of that. But people of Mzimvubu must still get water. And I know there is deviations in terms of treasury and all of that and all of that. But if then that is going to amount to being wrong and put you in terms of your accounting standards on irregular simply because you attended to a matter that is outside the budget, meaning that you now spent money unauthorized. Where do we put the people? That is our interest. Then the auditing, which must police how the money goes in, goes out, and if it's spent wisely and according to the law. But equally, the department that has the best interest of the people at heart. I need AG to clarify this once and for all, because we keep saying RAF, it doesn't listen and all of that. We have dealt with them. We even called those accounting standards board. They came to explain. But one thing they don't do, they don't give us a solution. PFMA is here, but law is not stagnant as well. We are lawmakers. If we have to amend the PFMA, let it be. And it must accommodate our people, because there's no way RAF is going to sit with claims more than 120 days because there's no more money. because now it's going to sit in a deficit, and now according to the accounting standards, that's going to put them in much more bad light. Instead of painting exactly where they are, they will paint that, but the thing is they don't know how many accidents are going to happen irrespective of how much money they have. I just need that clarity, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mente. Mr. Mokoena, please go ahead.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Chairperson, and thanks, Honorable Mente, for the comment and the question. Yes, Honorable Mente, when it comes to the financial statement, yes, we do reflect that RF did not comply with the standard. Therefore, they got adverse opinion. On the performance report, we do reflect that yes, RF has actually achieved 85%, although there are some targets that have not been achieved, and some of the targets have been achieved well. I think from our side, Chair, as AJC, we audit in line with what is available, the standard that is currently being available. As I do agree that there is a need for those that are responsible to come up with the standard, to come up with a solution in the form of a standard that deals with how these claims should be accounted for. And therefore, as AJC will audit according to that standard. But at the present moment, then we are actually auditing in line with what is it's available, and hence an adverse opinion. Yes, we do agree that like the solution needs to be found, but the current assistance now, like we can only audit against what is available. Chair. Thanks.
Mr. Mokoena, so for my own education, can you assist me here?
Yes.
Would something like the compensation fund fall in the same category in terms of accounting treatment as the road accident fund, or not? Do you apply the same standard in the sense that the compensation fund is like an insurance? It's not an insurance in the traditional sense, but it is insurance like.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, I think in terms of the to the extent that is like insurer, then in terms of the principle, like you expect the same principle to be applied in accounting for claims.
Yeah. Okay. So and the difference between that and the compensation fund and the road accident fund is simply the sheer volume of claims that each institution gets. Otherwise, if the compensation fund was dealing with the same number of claims as the road accident fund, it would find itself in the same position if the funding formula does not change.
Okay. Yes, Chairperson, I think, yeah, as much as I'm not necessarily auditing it's a compensation fund, but I think yes, the volume at RF is quite a lot. Yes, like I mean, in terms of like the principle, one would expect the same principle to be applied in terms of how to account for this provision of liability.
Sure. Okay. I think there was something that Honorable Mende asked, which I think is important, which is you have had the actual performance. So, and I think it's important for the public, not just Honorable Mende as well, right? In other words, in your own report, you say that the road accident fund has achieved most of the targets it set for itself. So in other words, in terms of what they expected to do, they've done it. There is, however, this accounting issue, which has then led to an adverse finding. In the minds of the public, it can be read to also say that institution is not performing. But there are instances when audits are done, or audit outcomes are published, where the entity has not done well in reaching its targets. However, it has accounted for the rands and the cents in a manner that is satisfactory. That always annoys me about auditors. They say satisfactory instead of good. In a manner that is satisfactory. And therefore, that entity gets a better audit outcome, even though it has underperformed on a number of metrics. And I understood Honorable Mente to be saying this does not make sense. If Honorable Mente, I am putting words in your mouth and misinterpreting you, then please correct me. But I'd like you to comment on that.
Okay. Okay, yeah, if I can start, Chairperson. Yes, as you indicated, Chairperson, like, yes, you would have instances where, like, the OTTs that did not achieve majority of their targets, they took it unqualified with findings or no finding. If you look at the areas that we're auditing, Chairperson, we are auditing 3 areas: is financial statements, compliance with laws and regulation, and audit of predetermined objective or performance information. And when we audit at a financial statement, we audit whether the auditee has complied with the set standard, and you express an opinion independent of the opinion that or a conclusion that we make on compliance and also even performance information. Then once you conclude on that, therefore you move to the next part, which is compliance. Whether there is any material non-compliance that has taken place for this auditee. To extend that there is in non-compliance, you will have raised an issue. Then you go to performance information. When it comes to performance information, Chair, we audit what we call the usefulness and the reliability, meaning that what has been accounted for is in line with the framework, it's in line with the planning documents. What we do not express an opinion on is the achievement or non-achievement of the targets. Yes, we do reflect to extent that the auditee has underachieved. They will provide the commentary around that, but they won't necessarily be expressing a conclusion or opinion on that, because that's not in line with the how we audit the performance information. Yes, you would have instances where, like, the auditee has actually achieved or has not achieved majority of these targets, but reflecting, like, the outcome from financial statement that has got no issues. But I think what is important is the reflection and commentary on those underachievement, which is those that are in charge of governance needs to follow up with management in terms of achieving the targets themselves. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Honorable Skosana T.
Sorry, Chair, can I make a follow-up?
Yeah, sure you can.
Now, just on the very last the response from AG on the areas of audit, the 3 areas you mentioned. You are saying then if a person meets one of the 3, if I look at other departments, when they meet the first one, which is the financial statement or drafting of the financial statements correctly, then it puts them at a better finding. And even if performance-wise and everything else is clearly saying they've done absolutely nothing, it's a declaration of thieving in a nutshell. If a financial statement says we received 1 billion, but all the 1 billion didn't go to nowhere, we paid people that didn't do what we asked them to, they inflated prices, irregular expenditure, fruitless, wasteful, all those things. None of the service delivery issues were addressed, because then a person complied with drafting that immaculately, then puts them in an unqualified position because they told you. But then here is RAF misses the drafting of the financial statements, yet says whatever we received, it was disbursed correctly. We met our targets. We're making sure that RAF is no longer being taken to court, and we're not spending more money in paying lawyers because we can no longer pay claims in 120 days. We make sure that claims are paid within 120 days. We are no longer having a lot of people taking us to court. We are trying to deal with also the backlog that was there, and we are doing everything we can. But the problem is between you and them on the financial statements. They have a different understanding of how the financial statements of their entity should work. You have a different understanding. You're saying the law says. That's fine. Firstly, there's a problem for me. How did you arrive at adverse when the other areas are satisfactory? If I may borrow from the chair, the other areas are satisfactory. Why didn't they then get unqualified with finding? When the others that did absolutely zero in service delivery get unqualified, which places them at a better finding, to a point where when Auditor General was releasing the municipal results, just I think last month, there was an attribution to the municipality that they are improving when there was no service delivery improvement, but the improvement was on declaration of thieving. So how do you arrive at adverse when it comes to RAF, but met one or two of the three account auditing areas, yet the others that meet one or two get unqualified? I need you to clarify that for me. And then secondly is, you also say, yes, the us who are responsible for amending the law and all of that, until such that is done, you will utilize what is at your disposal, which is the PFMA. Agree, correct, you are fine. But have you sat with RAF to ask, if you use this and we go and propose to Parliament to score in this case, which is a committee you account to the Standing Committee of Auditor General, that we need an amendment by Parliament, so that SCOWEC makes a recommendation to Cabinet that we need an amendment for the following. And this could go to an extent of ending compensation fund, because where you have to pay people on behalf of government on something that is out of your control, there's no way as an entity you will budget within the means. If we ever get less accidents in South Africa, that will be the best day ever, given the infrastructure is corrected as well, and also the alcohol issues dealt with, because alcohol is our biggest problem in this country. Would you then consider today having a meeting with AG and say, AG, for once and for all, let's deal with these accounting standards? Because, like I said, from the previous Parliament, we've been dealing with this. It's coming, and you keep giving the findings, yet there is no recommendation from your side that how do we deal with it? It's only we'll meet at court. We'll meet at court. At some point, comrades, AG, you are correct, you are using the law, but at some point, we need to also consider what works best for our people. Is this war worth taking to court every time we have a problem with these people? But they are making a case. And the chair now is bringing another case, which I think is also fair, because compensation fund, given what's happening with the unemployment out there, is going to hit the very same bottom. And then they're going to have no solution but to say, but comrades, you can't keep saying we're doing nothing when we're doing our best. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. May I go ahead?
You have final points to make on the debate?
Yes. Yes. No, thank you so much, Chairperson, and thanks, Honorable Member, for that comment. Yes, maybe just to briefly just clarify in terms of the adverse opinion, why didn't we give them unqualified with finding or something like that? Then, as I indicated, we are auditing 3 areas, Chairperson, and these 3 areas need to be assessed independently. a financial statement, we issue an opinion, whether it's unqualified, adverse, disclaimer. In this case, our assessment based on the nature of the misstatement and the materiality and the significance and how big they are. Therefore, the appropriate opinion was an adverse. That's on financial statement. Then we don't extrapolate that adverse opinion to other areas. We don't say you've got adverse on financial statement, therefore you've got adverse on compliance and OPO. The opinion is separate. The opinion is specifically on financial statement. Then the next conclusion will be on performance audit. We are saying on performance audit, yes, on performance information, there are no material findings that we have identified. Then we highlight the areas that need to be addressed, which relates to those targets that have not been achieved. Compliance, we are highlighting also the area of non-compliance, which is the non-compliance with the framework. Yeah, in short, as I said, like the opinion is independent from other areas. So we don't, we can't say like, I mean, we can express another opinion because they are doing good on the other area, on the other areas. In terms of us engaging RF on the matter, as I said, the AJSA audit, against what is what is available, and we don't prescribe the standard. Yes, I agree the need for us to have the standard that is suitable to public interest like RAF, which need to be driven by the the authority that's responsible for developing the account standard. In this case, which is ASB. Once that process has been done, we will be able to audit against that. From our side is to express an opinion based on what has been used by the relevant auditees, Chairperson. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Mr. Mokoena. I think this is, I mean, we've had, I guess this is a debate, just a discussion we also need to have with the ministry itself. And they did say when they were last with us that they're working on a funding solution for the road accident fund, as well as other interventions, which might then have a direct impact on the road accident fund's balance sheet. But a solution to the funding problem, as well as how liabilities are understood, needs to be found so that you can apply that solution to your audits. That's what I'm hearing you say. That whatever solution is then found, you will then apply that solution to your audits to determine, you know, whether the entity is compliant or not. Honorable Skosana.
Sometimes I get surprised, and I think we need to have. Do you hear me?
Honorable Skosana, you are very interrupted.
No, there's no interruption. I'm not sure what a full blast of a network here.
Yeah, I think there's a network problem. Mr. Mokoena, you can hear me, right?
No, I'm struggling to hear Honorable
Skosana. We can't hear. If you write your question, I will read it.
I can hear you. I read it. No, I need to ask this question. Indeed, I'm going to get into another.
Chair, could I pose a question, please?
Now, I just want to say to Honorable Skosana, we're struggling to hear you. However, if you are in a position to get better signal, let us know. Or if you're able to write your question, I will, as I did last time.
I can hear you very, 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 very well. Chair?
Now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. Stay in that spot. Don't move.
I'm there, Chair. Thank you so much. Chair, what I wanted to ask the the AG, and I think through you, Chair, I must have a body as well, which will as well look whether the AG operates within the framework of the law as well. Because for me, from where I'm sitting, if you remember, Chair, that the Treasury, there was no problem when the ESCOM and Transnet were exempted. In fact, there's a proclamation on that. You know, they never had any financial statement like SAA. Now we are being told that REF all the time. Even some of my colleagues, they are concerned about the court cases. It is a constitutional right for REF to take any case to the highest court in the land. And so far, they've won some cases in the Supreme Court of Appeal, and they've got a right even to take this. Why should we suffocate REF if they are not happy with some decisions? Why are we so obsessed? Because it's like, you know, you committed a crime by going to court. Losing a case, that doesn't matter, because you've got different opinions from courts. As you know, court decision is a matter of opinions. That's why the Supreme Court of Appeal is able to overturn some of the High Court decisions. And some of the time, even the Constitutional Court does overturn the Supreme Court of Appeal cases. So why are we obsessed? Why do we want to stop REF at all costs? It whatever means, they must not go to court because they've lost a case or two or whatever, or three. It doesn't matter. It's in our constitution. They are within their right. There's nothing wrong. They recently won a case on another matter. What were supposed to pay out of their pocket. And the Supreme Court said no to the High Court. For me, let's play the leveling field here. You know, there should not be an animal farm when others are not confirming to the PMFA a different opinion. Then there's a big hullabaloo. Why? I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Skosana. So, Mr. Mokona, I don't think I think that's a comment to the other colleagues, if I'm correct. So you didn't express an opinion on whether the RAF should go to court or not.
No, Chair.
Okay, you Honorable Skosana, you're commenting to the committee, to the members themselves, to be clear.
Well, look at it looks like them as well. It depends. It's an animal farm thing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Skosana. Honorable Atkinson.
Thanks very much, Chair. Chair, I just want to ask two questions. The first, does the irregular expenditure include the contract centre tender and procurement process? And then the second question is, we made an issue about the savings in legal fees, but have we looked at the average returns or the average payouts since getting rid of the panel of lawyers? Because it would appear to me that the average payout of the RAFs in each of the claims was much lower when they had their own lawyers in case to defend the cases. And it seems that the average payouts now are significantly higher. Has that been looked at to see if we are in fact saving any money at all, or if we're actually not losing money by the fact that we are no longer defending cases and we're actually paying much higher payouts than we used to? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Atkinson. Mr. Mukwena.
Yeah. Yes, Chairperson. Maybe just quickly on the last one. From our side, we haven't done that analysis, Chairperson, in terms of like the average payout post and after the establishment or disestablishment of the panel of attorneys. We haven't done that. I'm sure RF can do that, Chairperson. Then I'll ask my colleague just to deal with the irregular expenditure, whether it does contain the non-compliance with ASM procedures. Thank you very
Very
much,
much,
Chair.
Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the irregular expenditure balance comprises largely instances of non-compliance with supply chain management prescripts. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So I just have a couple of questions to ask, and they just for clarity rather than anything else. So just to be sure, from the Auditor General's team, so what will happen now is that the matter is not in the Supreme Court of Appeal being heard. What has happened is that the Supreme Court of Appeal refused to hear the matter on the basis that it does not have reasonable prospects of success. As per the rules of court, the Road Accident Fund has written to the Judge President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, asking him or her, I cannot remember now and I apologize whether it's him or her since Judge Meyer left, that the decision be reconsidered. The Judge President of the Supreme Court of Appeal has then asked the Road Accident Fund to respond, to file its response to the request. And the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal is therefore applying himself to whether to allow the matter to proceed or not. So that's where it is now.
Yes, Chairperson, correct.
Okay, all right. So look, I mean, I will opine in this way and not to you, Mr. Mkwena, to the members, because I do think it's got an impact on our proceedings. My understanding on the issue, and I asked you, Mr. Mkwena, earlier deliberately, is that there is a funding problem fundamentally at the Road Accident Fund. I think we all agree. The fuel levy is defined, the ref levy out of whatever the government collects from the fuel levy is a defined percentage or proportion of that levy per litre. And that amount is insufficient to cover all the claims that the Road Accident Fund has. So it's not anything that they do. It's just that it's got a certain outcome on the books, which is not something that they've created to Honorable Mendes' case. And I think it is going to have to be important for the committee and members of the public to be able to separate this so that we don't stress ourselves about something that management did not cause. You have a situation that management is having to contend with, management and the board, and the reality of the funding formula versus the nature and kind of problems on our roads and so on, gives a certain balance sheet problem to the Road Accident Fund. My view is that because the Auditor General can only apply the rules as written, on a day when the Parliament or somebody else decides to write the rules differently, then the Auditor General will apply that too at that time when it happens. So we are the lawmakers, to Honorable Mendes' point, and if there's something to be resolved on that side, that's what we do. But I think for now, we await the decision of the court, and because the decisions of the court have to be complied with by everyone, we then follow what the court tells us we should do. In our invitation to the Road Accident Fund, I have made this clear that it is not my intention to over litigate this issue in our conversation with them. It's in court. The court will soon tell us what should happen, and we should follow the guidance of the courts from there on. We do have their financial statements to ask them about. We do have the audit outcomes. We do have any number of other performance-related issues to talk to them about. But one of the things that's always been clear in my mind is that this liability does not result out of mismanagement, as it were. They haven't gone and borrowed money and now there's a big balance sheet problem. That's not what's going on here. And I'd like us to kind of compartmentalize to a reasonable degree the issues so that we we're able to deal with them. Of course, members are free to ask questions about the issue of the ref, but I have said to them in their preparation, as chair, I accept that the matter is in court and the court will pronounce on it, and that we will follow the guidance of the court. So from my perspective, I don't intend to try and fight with them about the issue. Suffice to say, the rules are always having to be complied with as they exist. Sometimes there's a problem with them, but as long as they apply, you apply the rules as they apply. So, honorable members, what we will do is we will then take this summary of this conversation, reduce it to themes that the Road Accident Fund needs to deal with when they come here, in addition to the financials and the audit outcome issues and the performance issues, so that they then have a clear picture of what we expect them to deal with next week when they see us. I am also mindful of what you said, Honorable Neil May, about the SIU in regards to that investigation. It's an old matter. I think it's from 2017, 2018, and it's ongoing. So getting an update from the SIU is entirely appropriate, even if that update is in writing, but certainly by the time the Road Accident Fund, we should have got an update for the committee as to the status of that investigation. Now, Honorable Skosana, you appear twice, so I don't know if it's a legacy hand, but you're on two devices, or there's something that you want to say.
Chair, I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
Remember, on the other one, it was not audible.
Oh,
On this one,
yeah.
which I just wanted to make a follow-up.
Sure, please go ahead.
Can I?
Yes.
Thank you. My issue was that you've explained it nicely, so vividly, that it's within. Let's wait for the court, because this matter, when they wrote, I guess the RF, as you said, they wrote to the judge president. I think that's the process of doing things before they go to the constitutional court, I guess. But the ref issue, if you remember, the Public Sector Classification Core Committee, they've resolved on that social security fund, and the states manual of 2014. So I don't understand that. Why is it so difficult, for people to understand? You say yourself that let's wait for the court to decide and see whether the treasurer is correct. I mean, the ref, I mean, they are okay with what they think they can win this case. And if they lose the case, so be it. So be it. Because they are not there representing themselves. They are fighting for the organization. And indeed, if this is going to help our people, so be it.
Thank you very much, Honorable Skosana. Mr. Mokoena and Mr. Mlangeni, I don't know who else is here from your team, but if I've skipped anyone, thank you very much for your service to Parliament, to the committee, and to South Africa. And to the honorable members, thank you very much for your engagement today and your participation and your questions and your comments. As I said, we will then be in touch later today with the Road Accident Fund to just provide guidance so that we have a focused conversation when they arrive here next week. But Mr. Mokoena, thank you very much to you and your colleagues.
No, thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, and we shall adjourn.
Thank you, Chair.
Recording stopped.